Trophy vehicles are machines that fought twice, first for one army and then against it. In scale modeling, this is one of the most compelling genres, because behind every repainted cross and every new marking, there's usually a real story, often with a specific vehicle number and a documented capture. And when you build a model based on a real, traceable prototype, it becomes more than just a kit. It becomes a reconstruction of a specific moment in history. Today, I've put together a top 10 list of the best trophy vehicle kits in 1/35 scale. At number 10 is the Simca 5, a compact French car that ended up in German service after the fall of France in 1940. Originally, it was a small civilian city car, essentially a licensed version of the Fiat 500, built to be simple and affordable. After the occupation, many of these cars were requisitioned and used by the Wehrmacht as liaison and staff vehicles. Period photographs often show the Simca 5 repainted in German gray or sand tones, fitted with Wehrmacht plates, a classic example of trophy equipment pressed into service with minimal modification. Now, the Tamiya kit. This is one of the smallest automotive kits in 1/35 scale. The finished model is genuinely tiny, especially when placed next to armored vehicles. Detail quality is exactly what you would expect from Tamiya. Clean molding, accurate proportions, and excellent fit. A major advantage is the included driver figure, which makes it easy to build a small scene straight out of the box. Assembly is straightforward, but the miniature size means some parts require careful handling. Good lighting and precise tools help. Overall, this is a solid choice if you want something unusual in your collection. A small, but historically distinctive trophy vehicle. At number 9 is the captured Soviet BA-20M armored car from Hobby Boss. There isn't much to say about the real vehicle itself. Even in Red Army service, the BA-20 was never especially common, and in captured German use, it was even rarer. The BA-20M was mainly used for reconnaissance and staff duties. It was lightly armored, weakly armed, and became outdated very quickly in the early years of the war. German forces captured these vehicles only occasionally and used them in a limited role, mostly in rear areas for security and auxiliary tasks. As a result, trophy BA-20s are more of a curiosity than a typical example of captured equipment. That rarity is exactly what makes this model interesting. When it comes to the Hobby Boss kit, the overall impression is solid and predictable in a good way. The parts fit well, the molding is clean, and the geometry is accurate. Serious assembly issues are unlikely. The build is fairly straightforward, which makes this kit suitable even for beginners. This is a non-interior kit, with no detailed fighting compartment inside. For some builders, this is a drawback. For others, it is a clear advantage: fewer parts, faster assembly, and less complexity. Overall, this is a well-balanced and accessible kit of a rare trophy vehicle. Not overly complicated, but historically distinctive. At number 8 is the captured French Hotchkiss H-39 tank in the Trumpeter kit. This was a light infantry tank from the late 1930s that entered German service in large numbers after the fall of France. In its trophy form, it is mainly interesting for modelers rather than for its combat record. What matters most here is the kit itself. The Trumpeter release is a solid mid-range offering. It is not perfect, but the overall quality is good. The molding is clean, the geometry is accurate, and the general level of detail is respectable. Some smaller parts are simplified, so advanced builders may want to add upgrades. Part fit is generally good, with only minor adjustments required. Difficulty is moderate. This is not a quick snap build, but it will not turn into a long-term project either. For intermediate builders, it is a comfortable and enjoyable build. Overall, this is a dependable kit of a trophy tank with good potential, especially for those willing to add a few aftermarket details. At number 7 is the British cruiser tank A-10 Mark I in captured German service in the Gecko Models kit. Originally, this was one of Britain's early World War II cruiser tanks, used in France and North Africa. Some vehicles were later captured by German forces and reused in training and auxiliary units. In trophy form, this tank looks especially unusual. A British design with German markings always stands out. But the main focus here is the model itself. The Gecko Models kit belongs to the high detail, high complexity category. It is definitely not for beginners. The box is packed with small parts, a complex suspension system, and dense surface detailing. Assembly requires time, patience, and solid experience. A major highlight is the large number of rivets across the hull. They work extremely well during painting and weathering, adding depth and visual interest to the finished model. Part fit is generally good, but due to the level of detail, test fitting and careful adjustment are essential. Overall, this is a kit for experienced builders who are ready to invest serious effort. When finished properly, it looks very impressive and fully justifies its complexity. At number 6 are two versions of the Stug 3 assault gun, one captured and used by the Red Army, and one captured and used by U.S. forces. This is an unusual entry because ready-made kits in these exact configurations simply do not exist. Model companies have completely ignored this topic, and for no good reason. As a result, these vehicles are perfect candidates for custom conversions. The Soviet version is relatively easy to build, mainly through repainting decals and minor modifications. The American version is more challenging. U.S. crews reinforce the armor by pouring concrete over the original plates. For projects like this, mini art kits are the best base, both with full interiors and without. However, both options are complex and definitely not suitable for beginners. High levels of detail, large numbers of small parts, and demanding assembly require experience and patience. The reward, however, can be a truly unique model. These captured Stugs are well documented. In many cases, the units they served in are known, and sometimes even the crew members' names. Special attention should be paid to the markings on the Soviet vehicle, such as Beat Goebbels and Avenger. Details like these give the model strong character and emotional impact. Overall, this is an ideal choice for builders who want to go beyond straight-from-the-box builds and create a genuinely rare centerpiece for their collection. At number 5 is the captured Soviet heavy tank KV-2 in German service, in the Trumpeter kit. After the start of the war, German forces captured several operational KV-2s and used them mainly for testing, training, and limited combat duties. The tank was powerful but difficult to maintain and poorly integrated into the German supply system. In trophy form, the KV-2 looks especially impressive. A massive Soviet tank with German markings always draws attention. But the main focus here is the kit itself. The Trumpeter model is produced to a good standard. The molding is clean, the main shapes are accurate, and the hull and turret details are solid. Part fit is generally good. Major problems are unlikely, although some minor adjustments may be required. In terms of difficulty, this is a clear mid-level build. Assembly is moderately complex, not suitable for complete beginners, but far from a hardcore project. This kit is well suited for builders with some experience who want to add a large, visually striking trophy vehicle to their collection without excessive difficulty. Overall, it is a well-balanced kit with strong visual impact and a comfortable level of complexity. At number 4 is the captured Soviet Gaz 05193 command bus in the Mini Art kit. During the war, German forces actively used captured Soviet buses and trucks, converting them into mobile headquarters and communications vehicles. These command buses were mainly used in rear areas and on secondary fronts. In trophy form, this Gaz looks especially unusual, a civilian Soviet bus turned into a German command post on wheels. But the real highlight here is the quality of the model. Among all captured Gaz vehicles released by MiniArt, this version is the most impressive and visually striking. The level of detail is outstanding. The interior is fully developed, with furniture, radios, equipment, and interior fittings all reproduced to a very high standard. This is not just a model. It is almost a ready-made diorama straight out of the box. However, the build is demanding. The parts count is high, the assemblies are complex, and careful work is required. This kit is definitely not suitable for beginners. For experienced builders, though, it is a real pleasure to work with, offering huge potential for painting, weathering, and storytelling. When finished, the result is extremely impressive and easily becomes a centerpiece in any collection. Overall, this is one of the best trophy vehicle kits in 1:35 scale, and a clear standout among gas-based models. At number 3 is a captured German Panther used by the Red Army in the final stage of the war. These vehicles were used in limited numbers, but they look extremely striking. A German tank with Soviet markings always stands out. Ready-made kits in this exact configuration do not exist, but this subject is easy to recreate through conversion. The best base for this project is the late production Panther from Tamiya, a proven classic that has stood the test of time. The kit features accurate geometry, excellent fit, and very comfortable assembly with very few problem areas. For the conversion, only repainting, proper decals, and minor modifications are required. That is why this option works equally well for beginners and experienced modelers. Beginners get an easy build, while advanced builders get a reliable base for a detailed project. Overall, this is a simple and effective way to create a rare trophy Panther without complex modifications. At number 2 is the captured T-34 from ICM. This ranking simply could not exist without the T-34. And among all available kits of captured T-34s, the ICM version is, in my view, the most balanced option. First, this is a relatively new release. The molds are still fresh, so the molding quality is high, with clean parts and no noticeable defects. Second, the balance between detail and difficulty is very well judged. The kit is detailed enough to look convincing when finished, but it is not overloaded with unnecessary complexity. Part fit is good, and the build process is logical, without unpleasant surprises. Beginners can complete this kit without major problems, while experienced modelers get an excellent base for upgrades and extra detailing. Overall, this is one of the most versatile captured T-34 kits available. Modern, well-designed, and suitable for any skill level. The gold medal goes to the captured Su-85 based on the T-34 from MiniArt. This is a genuinely rare and visually striking subject. A German-operated version of a Soviet self-propelled gun immediately stands out and draws attention. The kit itself is one of the most impressive trophy vehicle releases available. MiniArt delivers a very high level of detail, a fully developed interior, and a complete crew set in the box. This adds strong narrative and visual depth to the finished model. The build is demanding, the parts count is high, and assembly requires precision and experience. This is definitely not a beginner-friendly kit. However, the final result fully justifies the effort. When completed, the model looks powerful, dense in detail, and highly realistic. It becomes a true centerpiece rather than just another vehicle on the shelf, a rare subject, outstanding execution, and an impressive final appearance. This is why this kit fully deserves first place. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments which positions you agree with and which ones you would change. I'd be interested to hear your opinion and see your own examples of trophy vehicles. See you in the next video.